I'm Dr. Fiona Lovely, and this is the Not Your Mother's Menopause podcast. I'm taking the taboos of menopause and peri-menopause and bringing light to the dark. No bullshit, no shame. It's time for us to gain a new paradigm in female health, out with the old and in with the new, and I'm bringing fresh perspectives from someone in the arena. I've been practicing women's health for nearly 20 years, and I'm spilling the tea on what it means to live at midlife, knowing that the best is yet to come. I'm sharing my Gen X approach to living through this transition. Sassy, a bit sweary, and always honest. Tactical tips and instantly usable information is my aim. I hope to make you laugh and that you learn something new that helps you embrace the change. Together, we bring power to the peri. Onward to the podcast. Hello, listeners. This is Dr. Fiona Lovely. Thanks for listening to the Not Your Mother's Menopause podcast. And I am just thrilled to have yet again your ear this week as I bring you a fantastic guest. If you don't have a little alone time for yourself or a special date with your sweetie pie planned for today, you're going to want that after you've listened to this conversation. So I am speaking today with Susan Bratton, intimacy expert, advocate, and author. And before I tell you about the conversation that she and I have just had, I want to tell you I was recently listening to Susan on another podcast, and I heard her say these words, and I thought, oh my God, that's it right there. We've got to have that conversation. She said, we don't have low libido as women. We have shitty sex. Girl. Oh, we got to talk about that. Yes, we do. I mean, talk about cutting right to the core of what a lot of women are feeling. We're made to feel the shame of low libido. But in fact, it's a comparison game that we were never meant to win. And Susan talks about how what we see now, what we operate from when it comes to the sex experience is the male perspective, the male pleasure, when in fact, female pleasure is a totally different game. So when we're talking about heterosexual sex, it can be that we're not into it because we've never really done it the way we wanted to. But because we're good girls, because we were raised in a patriarchal, colonized religious system, we don't get to explore it freely. So this conversation is going to go a long way to helping you see where, pulling back the curtain and letting you see where these pre-existing biases exist in your own life. And even if you have a great sex life, solo or partner, you're going to learn something in this conversation. Let me introduce my totally awesome guest. Susan Bratton, intimacy expert to millions, is a champion and advocate for all those who desire intimacy and passion their whole life long. Susan is co-founder and CEO of two companies, Personal Life Media, Inc., a publisher of the Better Lover brand of heart-connected lovemaking techniques and bedroom communication skills, and Regenerative Therapies as the 20 LLC, a brand of organic and botanical supplements that enhance vitality. Now, she and I talk about the nitric oxide boosters that are available for help with sexual health. More on that in the show. Susan is the best-selling author and publisher of 44 books and programs, including Relationship Magic, Revive Her Drive, Ravish Him, The Passion Patch, Hormone Balancing, and Hot to Trot. Susan speaks eloquently from the stage and frequently appears on ABC, CBS, and NBC, as well as being the #1 downloaded episode guest on myriad podcasts. Let's see if we can achieve that status here on the Not Your Mother's Menopause podcast. So, this conversation is a spicy meatball. If you have sensitive ears around, you might wish to wait until you're solo to listen to this episode, or to use headphones and have a big smile on your face and make the people around you wonder, what in the hell you're listening to in those earbuds. I love it. In case you are not already there, please go and join my newsletter email list on drlovely.com. Up at the top, there's a place where you can drop your email. Every 2 weeks on Friday, I send out an email that has high quality assets in it for you to help with the menopause transition, tools, techniques, advice, and sometimes just a virtual hug from me. So I will be posting all of the links that Susan talked about in the show in the newsletter. Again, drlovely.com, you can find the newsletter. And you can find our brand new supplement store for those in the United States on drlovely.com as well as in the show notes. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy this conversation I just had with the awesome Susan Bratton. Thanks for listening. Oh, you guys, I am so excited to have Susan Bratton, intimacy expert, advocate, and author on the show today. Susan, welcome to the Not Your Mother's Menopause podcast.
Dr. Lovely is your true name. My God, did you get named well? You're so pretty and so smart and so amazing. And I'm very happy to be here talking about female pleasure today.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I resist.
Don't resist.
Okay, good. I love it. Okay, Susan, seriously, there's so many things I want to talk to you about today.
Yeah.
And I was recently, I have to say, the first time I became aware of you, I saw a clip where you were interviewed by Dave Asprey for his podcast. And he was acting like a naughty little boy that'd been caught like having a wank. And I thought, this is fascinating.
That's Dave. He is a 12-year-old boy. And people are constantly surprised by that. But I've been friends with Dave for over a decade. And so when I went into that podcast, I knew exactly how he was going to act. And I just play with a 12-year-old boy. That's all you can do. And I like that about Dave. I like being childish. I think we don't have enough childlike playtime together, which is why I was glad to hear before we started the show that you just downloaded my sex life bucket list while you were at the car wash.
Yes, I did.
Because girl, I want to know what's on that sex life bucket list of yours. I love it.
I want to know too.
I love it when people go there. And I'll just say it for your listeners, sexlifebucketlist.com, where I put this little PDF that you can download. And I always recommend, like, you're married, Fee, so you can give a copy to your husband and a copy to you. And then there's a video that I recorded that comes with it. And this is all free, you guys. So you can just have it. And you get in bed, snuggle in your partner's arms, get two pens and printouts and something to lean them on, one of your favorite books, and crack open your laptop or prop up your phone and watch my video. It's a 40-minute journey through 48 erotic play dates that you can do. And when you mark down, when I teach you each thing, I explain them, because some of them you're going to be like, I don't even know what that is. And other ones you're going to be like, oh yeah, we've done that and it was hot. And other ones are going to be like, I've never done that. I know about it. I want to do it. And then you mark each thing. And A is, oh, this is definitely going on my bucket list. B is, well, it's not for me, but babe, if you want me to do a lingerie fashion show for you where you get to take pictures of me and I look super sexy for your spank bank, I'll do it, you know? And C's are, it's not for me right now. And that's what I always say, not right now, because as you age, your sexuality matures, your mastery improves, your experience grows, your body image issues diminish, and your pleasure palette expands and everything gets better. And when you do that, later on, you'll be like, you know, that thing that was a C? Now I can't stop thinking about that. Yes, I would actually like you to try to spank my behind and see what it's like. Ooh, that's like making me nervous and scared, but really sounds interesting, you know? And so I think that's so much fun because I love to see what's on women's bucket lists. I love to see what's on men's bucket lists. And I don't get to see what you write down unless you email me back and tell me later. But a lot of people do because they know I love to hear what they want. And it's just so fun to see where couples are in their level of like learning, knowledge, experience, because the couples that play together stay together in if they are playing together in the bedroom. It's either sex or money, or you married a weirdo. I mean, that does happen. Some
It
people have
does.
problems. It does. But for most of us, it's either sex or money. And it is sex for a lot of people. And if you're not having pleasurable intimacy with your partner, you're literally shortening your life. And
Yes.
I don't want to come on here and talk about the benefits of sex for your health because that's not going to make you do it. What's really going to make you be willing to be like, all right, let's dust the cobwebs out of the
Mhm.
old lady parts and see if we can kickstart her and get her going again. Because what you're
Yeah.
talking about with Dr. Fiona Lovely is
Yeah.
actually intriguing to me. Like what we've been doing, I could take a pass on. But some of those things, if my husband steps up, and he will because he wants to know what to do and he doesn't know. They need to be trained. I mean, between us girls, we're on a women's show and they need to be
Yes.
trained. They just don't know anything. They grew up in the patriarchal society that censored their knowledge. All they see is shitty movie sex and porn.
Yep.
They don't know about me. They don't even know how to find me. And so I think once
Fascinating.
you recommend to your husband, "Hey,
Yeah.
I'd like you to find my G spot for me. I'd like you
Yes.
to de-armor my G spot. I'd like you to awaken my G spot. I'd actually like to experience female ejaculation. I'm interested in releasing my divine nectar. I don't want to be treated like a porn star and squirting and you jackhammering me. That's not what I want. I want to try the soulful, pleasurable, heart-connected way of feeling into my orgasmic potential." And when you tell your husband that, they're like, "Baby, whatever, let me roll my sleeves up right now. Tell me what to do." I'll tell you
Yes.
one of the number one things, and I'll shut up for a second,
Please.
but I want to tell you one of the number one things that's so interesting. Here's a trend that tells me we are going in the right direction. And that is that every year I do a couple of appearances where I do my 20 it would be 2025 right now, my 2025 sex trends, top 10 sex trends of the year. And number one for this year is yoni massage,
Go on. Wow.
vulvovaginal manual pleasuring with a couple of particular tools that I
Yes.
recommend because a man knows how to use a tool. He might be ham-handed, but he can use a tool, and that gets you both going in a way
Yes.
that allows you to begin to have these other pleasures. So the sex life bucket list, one of the things on there is let's learn how to do yoni and lingam massage because it is crucial to engorgement.
Let's talk about something incredibly important: your heart health. You probably already know the stark statistic. Heart disease is the number one cause of death in the United States. Now, it's widely understood that men develop heart disease earlier in life than women. But what you might not know is that this difference starts to change as women age. By the age of 65, women begin to develop heart disease at the same rate as men. Why does this happen? Well, the sources tell us that declining estrogen levels play a significant role. Estrogen has a profound impact on our cardiovascular system. It actively improves our cholesterol levels, keeps inflammation down, increases crucial blood flow around the body, and even helps to reduce damaging free radicals. Think of estrogen as a vital protector for your heart. It's important for our heart health, too, to take minerals. Certain minerals, such as magnesium and boron, are highlighted as being essential nutrients that our hearts and bodies need to function at their peak performance. When your mineral levels drop, it can lead to a decline in both your estrogen levels and your overall heart health. This is why I'm so enthusiastic about my partnership with Beam Minerals. They have formulated a fantastic way to make getting your daily electrolytes and essential minerals absolutely effortless. Forget about cumbersome pills or messy powders. Beam Minerals offers a simple solution. Just a small shot each day provides your body with the natural, plant-based support it needs. Ready to take proactive steps for your heart health and overall well-being? Head on over to beamminerals.com and don't forget to use my special code LOVELY to receive a fantastic 20% off your first order of Beam Minerals. That's LOVELY. Thanks, Beam. Okay, we need to talk about a lot of things here.
I know.
Let's put a pin in engorgement. We're going to come back to that.
Yep.
So I listened to you tell me this. I love this vision of the world where women's pleasure is first. We learned
Yeah.
yoni massage. I love that too. That's the number one trend, Susan. OMG. Like that
Yeah.
is better than any of the other predictors I've seen of where we're going. That tells me
No.
we start to give a shit about women's pleasure,
Yeah.
the world will change dramatically, and I'm certain of it. I'm sure you would say the same.
Yes.
So, when you're talking about the sex life bucket list,
Yeah.
what I can hear in my head is every single patient who has come to me and said, I would rather have a bath,
Mm-hmm.
read a book.
Mm-hmm.
Who has any? My husband, I mean, we've done it so many times. There's nothing new. It's not that exciting,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So, how do we get from the place where we feel
Meh.
like, you're asking for adventure, and I can't even get it up enough to get undressed for the possibility of it.
Mm-hmm.
Can
Yeah.
you give us kind of the steps in between, please?
Yes. 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 I definitely can. So I would say a couple of things. The first is that everything we've ever been shown about sex is from a religious, patriarchal, colonized perspective. Now, that might feel like a political statement to you, and it might go against your personal beliefs, like religion is good, or, white people should control everything, or whatever it is. But really, it's done a deep disservice to us sexually. Because, first of all, we've kind of been raised in a culture where when we say the word sex, it means intercourse. It's just another word for intercourse, penetrative intercourse. And penetrative intercourse is fantastic if you know what you're doing, but there are no scenes in any movie that show intercourse the way it feels good to a vagina, only intercourse that feels good to a penis. You're lucky if you can kind of take the crumbs and the scraps of that practice and find a way to your own pleasure with it. But it's not your it's not your partner. It's not your partner's fault.
Are you
It's not
sure?
your partner's fault. Though I do fart
Yeah.
during sex, that's for sure. And I
Okay.
hate it. My husband's like, baby, it's fine, And I'm like, when you're sticking that big thing up there, it does make a fart come out once in a while.
Well, throw a compliment in there, Susan. It's all good. He'll forget that there was actual flatulence that happened. That's great.
But and especially when you start ejaculating and you realize you don't want to tense up, but you actually want to release and let go, and what we call birthing the orgasm, sometimes farts will come out. So you do have to get used to that. But when we see pornography, it is for the male gaze, and it is for him to masturbate too, because he's driven to masturbate on a practically daily, if not daily basis. That's how he keeps his semen topped off. It's a biological imperative for him. So by all means, let your husband have his masturbatory pleasure and encourage him, because it keeps the plumbing working for him. You don't want him to get prostate issues. So that's normal. And the fact that you're not necessarily we're all on a bell curve, but most women generally are not masturbating every single day like men are driven to do. And so that's a difference. And then they're watching porn to do it almost all the time, whether you know it, like it, or want it. And so they're seeing these guys with these giant schlongs banging these professional adult stars, and the women are faking it and they're going crazy and they think they want this. Well, a perimenopausal woman, that's the last thing she wants is friction on her introital sphincter. Right?
Say that 3 times.
Oh, I can. I've said introital sphincter a million times. So that, I think, is one of the biggest issues, is that He's horny all the time. He's got nighttime erections if he's healthy. He's got morning wood. He sees your boobs and he wants to have sex with you. And you're on a 28-day cycle, even after menopause. You know, you're not sure when the mood's going to strike, if it even will. And you're bored to death with this sex means intercourse, and that's what we do. And so I'm just going to grab your boobs a couple times and lube up my penis and stick it in, and I'm going to pump back and forth, and you're going to pray to God you can come, and I'm going to ejaculate, and we think we did the deed. And that's what's playing out in bedrooms all over the world. Now, some couples have learned, oh, okay, I like oral. So he will go down on me and he'll give me a couple of orgasms before he penetrates me. But generally, that's almost the extent of it. Sometimes there are couples who will be like, oh, yeah, he's fine with me using a vibrator on my clitoris while we have intercourse, you know, and I'm like, okay, good, that's a good start. Then there's lots of women who are like, but if I use a vibrator, I'm not going to be able to have regular orgasms. Like there's some failure. They actually make you orgasm better. You just have to not drive your clitoris so hard, so fast that you have to have a refractory period. You need to learn how to creep up on orgasms so you can have lots of them and they keep getting better and better during the lovemaking session. But the reason why I think yoni massage is so important is that what people are beginning to realize, thank God for podcasts, the last and only bastion of uncensored dialogue, real talk about sexuality that is not pornographic. It's educational and hopefully entertaining. And
I think that'll be fine between the two of us. We'll be
I think
good.
we're doing good, Faith.
I think so.
So the thing that most people are really surprised to hear, and more sexperts are finally passing along this good news, is that women's arousal takes 15 or 20 minutes. Men's arousal takes 1 or 2 minutes because of the way we're wired, our erectile tissue structures, our testosterone versus estrogen dominance. There are just a lot of reasons why guys have to be ready to drop trowel when we're like, okay, we're in the mood. You may service me now. They have to be ready, right? So like all these things that they are good things for us, but we become annoyed by them because we're missing the lock and the key of engorgement and patience with ourselves, because everything we've ever seen is through the lens of male arousal.
Yes.
Everything.
Okay. Explain that, please. Like,
Yes.
explain to the listeners what that looks like.
Yes. So, you know, in the movies, when the couple realizes they want to have sex and he kisses her really passionately for 2 seconds, and then she rips her top off, her bra is still on, he pulls her pants down and he plunges inside her.
Yeah.
And that's representational of hot sex. That is, maybe that was great when the last time you had that super hot dude that you were totally dying to have sex with, and you were younger and you were really turned on and you were ready to go and you were already juicy because you were so hot for them. Well, that's not going to happen with your husband. You have a different dynamic with him. You love him
Yep.
and you like to have sex with him generally, but you're not going to be ready like that. And so we take about 20 minutes to get we have the same amount of erectile tissue in our vulvo-vaginal system, which I'm now heretofore, I will be calling the yoni. Yoni, Y-O-N-I, is a tantric lovemaking word. It means the portal. It's a sacred word for what really connotes our entire female urogenital system, not just the vagina, not just the vulva, not just the clitoris, which most people think of as this little tiny thing when it's this giant mass of spongy tissue completely wrapped around our vaginal cavern. It has a lot of nooks and crannies, and it just takes us a long time to get the blood flowing in, because the first step for us is relaxation. And mostly our partners are trying to get us turned on, and they skip the romance, the encouragement, the love, the appreciation, the hugging, the holding, the letting things off our chest, the getting out of our head and into our body, the full body touch, the stroking, the adoration, so that we can get out of the prey state, which is the state we live in with our reticular activation system always on high, our amygdala working overtime, etc. We are always in danger as women who do not walk safely in this world. And men don't have any of that to get through. And they're very single minded toward their goal. You know how when your husband's doing something, you can't talk to him because he like cannot take another input. He can take
Yep.
one input at a time. And that's beneficial. When you want a dog with a bone, you got one in your house. He knows how to drive to a
Hey,
conclusion.
clitoris over here.
Exactly.
Clitoris over here.
Yes. So for him, he needs to understand that there is not, and for you, you need to understand that you are not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. You just don't, none of us have the arousal pattern of our male bodied, heat seeking, moisture missile partners.
Mm-hmm.
So, the most important thing is to understand that you need to take time to allow yourself for your spit to run, your breasts to let down, your blood flow to come into your pelvic bowl, then to flow into the erectile tissue chambers so you get your lady boner. You're not leaving this podcast today without a commitment to your lady boner.
Perfect.
Ladies, so
Perfect.
this is your homework. Pop a clit boner. That's what you want to do. And there's a lot of ways to do it. You could use a vacuum pump to bring blood into your clitoris and engorge it. You can use manual stimulation to engorge it. You can use sex toys with vibration and pulse plate technologies and things like that to stimulate the tissue to get the blood in there to expand it. Because ultimately, without getting basically like a nice plump yoni, where everything's kind of fluffed up and voluptuous and juicy, the juice can't start running till the blood flows in. Your vagina is not a gland, it's not self lubricating. And so when you have low lubrication, partly it's a diminishment of estrogen during the perimenopause menopausal era. And that can be assuaged through topical vaginal estrogen. But that thins the tissue, which means the sponge is thinner and it doesn't hold as much moisture. But it's not actually the estrogen that creates the moisture. That's just plumping up the sponge, if you will. And it's really a vaginal mucosal lining is what's inside your vagina. It's not technically sponge like the clitoral structure, the urethral structure, and the perineal structure in there, but it still has to have density and sponginess to hold the moisture and get you wet. But it's blood flow. The number one thing you can do to get wetter is to take a nitric oxide booster to replace the lost stores of nitric oxide from nitrogen depleted soil, not eating enough leafy green vegetables, using antibacterial mouthwashes, using acid blockers and proton pump inhibitors, having a shitty gut microbiome. Fix that stuff and put your topical estrogens on and then give yourself the time and get the pleasure that you need to get that lady boner. And then all that tissue's plumped up. So it's like your husband's penis. If it's flaccid, he's not going to have sex with a flaccid cock, partly because he can't get it hard enough to get in you and you think that's what sex is. But the other thing is, even if you're not doing penetrative intercourse, it doesn't feel that good to him when it's flaccid. It feels way better when it's straining the tunica albuginea and there's thick veins on it and it's hard as a rock and it's straining because it's big and it has more surface area. Because really what we're dealing with here, if you look at what it is scientifically, it's mechanoreceptors, it's pressure sensitive receptors, it's stretch set receptors. They're like Raffini's endings of nerves and
Mhm.
Carpinian corpuscles. And they've got all
Yes.
these funny names, Merkel's discs. Like
Yes.
there's these crazy little things that are in your nervous
Yes.
system and in your
Yes.
tissue
Yes.
that are the gauges and inputs that send the signals to your biggest sex organ, your brain, that goes, oh shit, that feels good. And
Yeah.
there's no blood flow and there's no engorgement, there's attenuated, diminished signals to the thing that's actually making you feel your pleasure, which is your
It's your brain.
brain.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so Dr. Nan Wise teaches a lot of this in her work. If you haven't had her on, I'll introduce you. She's
Please do.
fantastic. Yeah, remind me at the end.
Okay.
So getting the blood, getting the stimulation, having the relaxation, getting the nitric oxide, having the estrogen, having the
Mhm.
sensation, using the toys, the fingers, the tongues, the words of adoration, all of that gets your lady boner going. And then his oral pleasuring feels better, his penetrative sex feels better. Then your next step is, how do you ask for what you want if you don't know?
Yes. Yes.
And then your next step after that is, how do I get better at receiving oral, giving oral? How do I get myself off on my husband's penis, giving him oral? Oh, I can do that? Yes, mama. Yes, you can. That tool is for your pleasure. You can give yourself throat gasms, you can get nipple gasms, you can get clitoral gasms, G-spot, vaginal orgasms, cervical orgasms, anal gasms, foot gasms, belly gasms, erotic hypnosis, female ejaculation, and G-spot de-armoring, and expanded orgasms, and orgasms from different kinds of sex toys. And there's so many ways. Once you get, the fundamental thing is, I need a lady boner. Susan Bratton says, I need a lady boner,
My
daddy.
she. Where's my she boner?
Where's my shiboner?
Okay, well let's unpack this a little bit
Yeah,
because there's a couple of things that you said in there, Susan, that I want us to go deeper on.
good.
How appropriate for me to say that when we were talking about sex. Anyways,
How deep can we go?
let's see. Okay, the first time I was made aware of the concept of sex without penetration
Mhm.
is when I heard Dr. Kelly Casperson talk about it on her podcast, You Are Not Broken.
Yep.
And she's a urologist. Of course, she was talking to a patient of hers who basically said, I'm just not interested in my husband's penetration anymore. I still want intimacy, but I'm not
Mm-hmm.
interested in that.
Yeah.
And when I heard that conversation, I thought, oh shit, we've got this whole conversation wrong. We've got the whole viewpoint wrong. We do not understand. It's not just about feminine pleasure, it's about moving away from the boner being the only thing, the
Mm-hmm.
penetration, the intercourse being the only thing. And of course, we've got boys that are learning what sex is all about
Oh
from
God.
pornography. How
Oh
the
God.
hell do we even
I
navigate
know.
this? How do we
Hmm.
navigate this? So let's talk about that, please.
Okay, what's the question?
Yeah, penetrative sex. We
Penetrative sex.
so when we have this whole entire lens in our society that you've already talked about that says
Yeah.
basically unless a penis is going inside a vagina or a
Yeah.
mouth or an anus,
Yeah.
we're not doing it right.
Right. Well, and that's because it's that religious repression that says sex is for procreation only. So the only thing that matters is intercourse. And if you can't have babies anymore, you're a done, washed up thing. You might as well die. Right?
Jeez.
That's what the ethos is that we've been
Yes.
raised in, that we're only good for servicing the penis. And then when we can no longer procreate, we're set out to pasture.
Okay, so
We're the crones,
we're the
right?
crones, yes, the driver.
Hmm.
So I know my husband well enough to know that if he heard what you just said, I'm going to make sure he's listening to this podcast. He would be horrified for any behavior he ever
Yeah,
perpetuated.
it's not their fault.
No,
No, it's not our
he wouldn't
men's
even be
fault.
aware.
No, we're swimming in it like fish are swimming in water. We don't even know we're swimming. Right, exactly.
Wow.
So there's a couple of
Wow.
interesting things I want to show you, and
Please.
what I'll do is I'll make sure you know how to find these things that I'm describing so that you can get them, because there's nothing more infuriating to my fans than when I talk about something and they don't know where the hell they can get it.
Yes. And we'll put links in the show notes as well, Susan. So share what you got.
Good. So the first thing is that I love intercourse. And the reason I got into this 20 years ago when I was in my early 40s is I never had an orgasm from intercourse. And my husband thought it was just me, and I thought it was just me. And that's what women do. We think it's our fault because all we've ever seen is the movies where women are like plunged into immediately and, like all the things I was talking about. So, I dedicated my life to orgasming for you people, and I want you to know I've been happy to do it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. From the bottom of my yoni, thank you.
And I learned how to have orgasms from intercourse. And then over time, my husband and I figured out how to have highly orgasmic intercourse. And we kind of backward figured out what the vagina actually wants. Not my vagina, all vaginas. This is not what my kinky thing is or what I like to do or anything like that. I am a nerdy science girl, and I did a whole bunch of studying of every single aspect of intercourse and orgasm and essentially vaginal anatomy and how it operates. And even down to like studying castings of vaginas and looking at how they really look, not how they're depicted in illustrations. I mean, medical textbooks still for doctors, you probably went through this. The anatomy illustrations are incorrect. So doctors don't even get appropriate and correct illustrations.
Jesus.
I have a girlfriend who runs a nonprofit that her job is to pressure the textbook companies to update their graphics. That's what she devoted her life to because she had a labiaplasty that was botched.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. So the vagina really, one of the things I want to give you, because we won't dive this deeply into it, we're going to stay high and give you we're going to give you the big picture in this conversation. And orgasmic intercourse is a learned skill. All female bodies can orgasm from penetration. If you haven't, you just haven't yet, and you can. And usually it's just simply getting the engorgement piece working, knowing that there's nothing wrong with you, giving yourself the space to allow your partner to pleasure you to the point where you're ready for penetration, because we've been penetrated too early so often, mostly through our whole lives, that it's easy for us to give up sex because it's been penile pleasure focused rather than vaginally pleasure focused. And by the way, when your husband learns vaginal pleasure focused intercourse, it's going to feel better to him too. We were just the blind leading the blind.
Ladies, can we talk about energy for a minute? I know so many of you tell me you're trying everything, the supplements, the workouts, the sleep hacks, but you're still feeling tired, foggy, or just off. I get it because I've been there too. Here's what I've learned. True energy starts way deeper than we think. It starts in our cells. And as we navigate perimenopause and menopause, our cellular energy naturally declines. That's where Timeline's MitoPure gummies come in. These are the first ever longevity gummies powered by MitoPure, the only clinically proven form of urolithin A. What I love about them is that they're not just another supplement promising a quick fix. They actually work at the cellular level to improve your energy at the source and help with strength and endurance. In clinical studies, they increased muscle strength by up to 12% after just 16 weeks. Urolithin A works at the cellular level to improve energy at the source by transforming cellular damage and targeting a key hallmark of aging, helping to give you sustained energy to feel like yourself again. It's recharging your cellular batteries to combat the natural decline in energy production that happens as we age. These gummies are a game changer. They're sugar-free, naturally sweetened, and actually taste good. I keep mine right on my bathroom vanity so I remember to take them every morning. If you want to feel like yourself again and stay strong as you age, you need to try MitoPure gummies. My friends at Timeline are offering 20% off just for the listeners of the Not Your Mother's Menopause podcast. Head to timeline.com/lovely20 to get started. That's timeline.com/lovely20. Your cells will thank you.
So at orgasmicintercourse.com, I basically have all of the different techniques that you can try one by one by one. Have your erotic play dates and say, tonight we're going to try the thrust and time technique. Tonight we're going to try glissando. Tonight we're going to try heart tongue. Tonight we're going to try crouching tiger, squatting dragon. You know, I've named them all. And that one you're going to need some pretty good ham hocks to do. You're going to need some muscles for that one. But you know, thigh muscles are the new longevity, right? Mm-hmm. So here we go. And they're all doable. And I teach you how to have vaginally orgasmic intercourse through that. And it's free. It's just at orgasmicintercourse.com. But having non-penetrative sex, there's a couple of things where maybe you're not ready. Maybe you're in pain. Maybe you're atrophied. You need to start your nitric oxide. You need to go get Gaines wave treatments. They don't have them in Canada yet, but they might have acoustic wave there. It's this wave device that they put on the vulva, but it penetrates into the tissue and it reverses atrophy. As you age and you have blood flow restriction as it retracts because you didn't have enough nitric oxide, you didn't have enough blood flow going to the pelvic bowl all these years, the capillaries retract from the tissue, and then the nerves retract and you lose sensation, and then the tissue shrinks. So the women online who are saying, my labia have disappeared, or my clitoris is gone, it's like lost, I can't even find it anymore. That's what that is, and it's reversible through regenerative medicine, through Gaines wave is the gold standard acoustic wave. And it's good for not just sexual regenerative therapy and not just for your vulva, but your husband's penis, but it's also good for if you've got joint pain, things like that. Acoustic wave is a tissue stimulation technology that regenerates our tissue. So it's very, very good.
Fascinating.
But
what have you got in your hand?
While you're getting over that hump of regenerative therapy, I have a couple of things. This is called the Legato, Legato, from Mystery Vibe. And I'm putting all the links to everything at drivedesire.com. So you don't have to write everything down. You can go to drivedesire.com and there'll be a list of these things. You can click and you can look. And the Legato is an external vibrator, a labial and clitoral vibrator that you can put on your body, and your partner can make love to you through it if you want a little stimulation around the opening to the vagina, maybe not complete penetration. You can get that too, or this can be a pleasure tool just for you that isn't just a bullet vibe on your clitoris, and it's not something that goes inside you. This is a medical grade device. This is distributed through gynecologists and other health practitioners, also sold direct. So this is nice. And then this is another product that I really like. This is called the Pulse Duo. And this is for, let's say your husband has firmness issues and you're getting him on nitric oxide, you're taking him for his Gaines wave, you're getting him to use his penis pump. If your husband is getting a little bendy, if he's pushing a wet noodle, get him a penis pump and tell him, you are welcome to masturbate. I also want you to start using this pump because you need to keep the blood carrying capacity of your penis very high so that you don't atrophy and lose sensation. Because if they have sensation loss, if your husband is pumping away and he can't quite get there and he's got to use like the grip of death to self-pleasure, to ejaculate. The sensation loss is from the nerve retraction, from the lack of blood flow. Fix the flow, stimulate new tissue growth, the nerves come back, all the pleasure comes back, and he's got a nice heart on again. And he can temporarily pump up and pull this little constriction device that you keep on the end of the pump off right onto the base of his penis. It'll hold the blood in his penis for 30 minutes for him to get erect enough to penetrate. And he can go on to actually increase his overall girth and length with consistent every other day or so pumping.
Isn't that what every guy wants?
Every guy wants a bigger dick, even no matter. I mean, 9-inch guys with 9-inch dicks are pumping. They want bigger dicks. Everybody.
know, it's crazy.
We want to be thinner and richer, and they want a bigger dick. That's
want a bigger dick.
That's what it is. And the pump that I recommend is at pumpswork.com. That's the only pump I recommend. Everyone rip them off and uses lower quality materials, or there's water pumps that don't work and guys can hurt themselves with them. They don't get the results. So the pump I recommend is really a good one. I've helped 17,495 men and counting. It's, some number like that with pumping. I've written a book on it. So that is very, very helpful. And then this is a nice product. This is called the Pulse Duo. And it is a double vibrating pleasure toy for couples that aren't interested at this moment in penetrative sex. It uses a technology called pulse plate technology, and he can put his flaccid penis in here and it will stimulate him to orgasm. The other side of it is a vulva vibrator that he could put this on himself and she could get on top of him kind of cowgirl style. And she can have this in the vestibule between her labia, touching her clitoris, and also the inside the vestibule, which is very pleasurable for a lot of women, without going inside. And she can ride him. He can play with her boobs. They can make out. He can tell her what a goddess she is while she's getting this stimulation. And I lost the little remote control. It's here somewhere. But what's nice about the remote control, I think it's ears between my legs, the little remote control, she can hold this in her hands. And as he's giving her nipple-gasms and she's giving herself orgasms with this vibrator, his penis is getting the pleasure. And she can turn it up, she can turn it down, she can change the patterns, and she can just ride him and ride him and ride him and have orgasm after orgasm after orgasm. Or he can use this manually on her as an entire vulva massage tool. And one of the tricks to yoni massage or vulva massage is, you know how the pubic hair goes in kind of a horseshoe? It goes over the mons and then down on the labia. So the mons above the clitoral hood, that's like a floodgate for blood flow. When it is stiff and brittle almost, the tissue is like hard and unyielding and just like almost like it's like tight. The blood can't get through there to get into all the tissue well. It can't flow into those vestibular bulbs that are underneath the pubic hair on each side, under the outer labia. So make sure that you're using the vibrator way up high on your mons and get your husband to massage that tissue until it's like jello under there. When it gets like jello, your labia will plump up, your clit boner will be magnificent, and your vaginal lubrication will double, triple. And if you want to explore female ejaculation, which I recommend, and I can tell you why, but what that does is it really helps the blood flow come into the pelvic bowl. And when it does, it goes into the Skene's glands, and then you have an orgasmic contraction and you expel your divine nectar, your female ejaculate. It's not pee. Men urinate and ejaculate out of their urethral canal. We urinate and ejaculate it out of our urethral canal. Ours is just an innie, his is an outie. We do the same things. We don't have we don't have semen in our ejaculate, but we have prostatic fluid. It comes from our blood plasma. So you wonder where women get all that liquid. It's recruited while you're turned on right from your body down into the pelvic bowl to be pushed out with orgasmic contractions. And what I love about female ejaculation, and I've taught thousands and thousands of people to do this, I carry on the work of many of my mentors. And Tallulah Solis is the mentor for Female Liquid Orgasm, which is the program that we've used to teach women and their partners the bliss of female ejaculation, the release of our divine nectar, because we have been taught to be good girls. We have been taught to not get dirty. We have been taught to not mess things up. We have been taught to obey. And when you have orgasms that are so surrendered that you are squirting fluid on your liberator fascinator because it can't get on your sheets because they're too pretty. And so you've already laid it down and you're planning, and your husband knows exactly what to do to help you release that divine nectar. When you're so surrendered, when you've let go of your body image issues, when you're getting exactly the most incredible G-spot pleasuring that feels so good. And you just go, all right, fuck it. I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do what Susan Tallulah told me. I'm just going to birth my orgasm. I'm going to birth my ecstasy. I'm going to stop squeezing and holding and tightening. I'm just going to push it out. Let it go. I'm going to feel like it's pee, but she told me it's not pee. I'm going to let it go. And when you do that, you just took up a lot of fucking room. You just wet the bed. You just made a mess. You just claimed your womanhood.
Yes.
Why do you hold yourself back?
Because we were never taught.
Rip.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And
we were
so
never taught.
encouraging a woman, and when your husband's like, just let go, baby, just let go, let it go. Come on, baby, you can do it. You just don't worry. Everything is fine. I've got you. How does it feel now? A little harder, a little softer, more up high, more down low. Okay, right there. Just there you go, baby. Here you go. This is it. Let it go. That's a good girl. Yes, it's coming out. Let it go. Enjoy it. I'm right here. Like if your husband is telling you those things, for most women, that is the encouragement and the adoration that we need.
That we need, yes.
To
yes,
claim our space and place in this world.
And make a mess if we need to. I love it.
And it's not a mess. It's just fluid. It doesn't smell. It smells like, sometimes it smells a little like hay, something like that. It smells fresh. It's fresh. It doesn't even stain. You could do it on a white towel. It wouldn't even stain.
No, I love this.
Fluid from our body.
I have believed for a very long time that the liberation of our current situation is through the female pleasure. And I think when women start having orgasms like you just described, in a way that we have enabled men to do it, as long as you and I have been alive, once we start claiming that for ourselves, that's when shit is really going to start to change in our communities, in our societies, you name it. Okay, here's my question for you. What if a woman's listening to this podcast and partner sex isn't an option for whatever reason?
Solo pleasuring. I've got a couple of fun new things you're going to love. I recommend sex toys. No, they're not going to make you dependent. Yes, they're going to expand your orgasmic potential. What you want to do is you're massively orgasmic. It's all inside you. You need to activate the tissue, and you need to activate it so that you get that brain connection. So those neural pathways are connecting and processing the pleasure. And normally if you touch your vulva in a bunch of different places, it's going to feel maybe like painful or shameful or numb, and a few places might feel pleasurable. But after a lot of really pleasurable solo joy, you will start activating all that tissue. It'll get engorged much faster. It'll feel better, and you'll start to have lots of kinds of orgasms from all different locations. And so there's a couple of things I love right now. One of them is a company called Lioness. This is at Drive Desire, and it's a rabbit vibrator, so it stimulates internally and externally, and it's Bluetooth connected to your phone, and it will measure your orgasms. It's like an Oura ring for your. It's the original O ring. It's the orgasm tracker.
Yep.
It'll tell you the duration, the intensity, as well as the type of orgasm you had: volcano, ocean wave, avalanche. And what's nice about it is that you can start to have the different kinds of orgasms. You can start to come longer. You can start to come with more intensity and track your progress. The second thing I like is this nipple vibrator, because your nipples, your lips and throat and tongue, and your entire yoni are all one system. And this you put this little necklace on. It has the actual motor in this little necklace, and then these little things come down, and you attach them to your nipples, and they vibrate your nipples. And my favorite program on this, I love to do this when I'm masturbating with toys, because then it intensifies my orgasms, and I love nipplegasms. You can train yourself to have nipplegasms. If you haven't had one yet, that's all that is. You just need to play with your boobs more. And this little nipple vibrator is so nice because it's just adding to your overall pleasure. And this one pattern that it has, where it kind of goes ooh, like that. It's like someone's literally twinkling your nipples for you. It's
Wow.
incredible. So if your hands are free holding vibrators on your vulva, you can get the nipple vibrator going. That's really good. And then when your partner plays with your boobs, when you do finally get a partner, if you want one, if you don't want one, I respect, mama, respect.
Yep.
You get to have nipplegasms at the same time you have clitgasms, and it makes them both better.
Mhm.
But this is my current favorite little self-pleasuring situation. This is the Pearl, and it is an internal vibrator that has G-spot pads on it that stimulate the G-spot. So the whole thing vibrates, but there's extra sensation of what the G spot loves up on the roof of the vagina. And what's nice is that over time, where you might think, only the entrance really feels like anything, the rest is kind of numb, that's just the numbness. Wake it up. The whole
Mhm.
vagina is orgasmic and active, and it wants not just the mucosal lining touched, it wants pressure on the lining so that you're actually stimulating your guts. You're stimulating the other side of the wall. You're stimulating all the stuff on the top, the uterine cervical complex, as well as the urethral sponge, which people call a G spot, but it's a long tube down at the bottom of your vagina. On the base is your perineal sponge, so there's tissue down there. On the sides of your vagina are the nerves that run down, the pudendal nerve structures, and that sends pleasure all over your body. And so I love this internal vibrator, and I also love an external vibrator. And this little wand, it's called the Pro Wand. This is a tiny little wand that packs a punch. Now you can keep it on low if you're one of those sensitive women, but if you're one of those women who's like, I need the Hitachi magic wand that
I
plugs
was gonna
in,
say the plug-in version.
this is the plug-in version level sensation with no wrist strain, super lightweight, next generation Dutch technology. And what I like to do is I like to put the pearl in and put the wand on my external clitoris while I have the nipple vibrators going.
Is Would it be cliche for me to be like, Susan, I gotta go right now. Sorry, thank you very much.
I know exact see, if I tell you how I'm using three toys on
Yeah.
myself at once for orgasms, you're like, oh shit, I can do that? And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, mama, you can. You can stick a butt
Yeah.
plug in too if you want to, and you can make that vibrating as well. And you could have
There you
someone be
go.
giving you foot rubs, and you could be having someone telling you dirty stories. Like, you can
Wow.
have everything you want. You just have to figure out what it is. And my job is to give you all the good ideas so you can pick the ones you want.
Oh my gosh. And you've given us a master class today. Thank you. So those toys are all at drivedesire.com. Is that right?
DriveDesire.com. Yep.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
So first of all, we just scratched the surface
I
today.
know.
And you hear this all the time. Would you please come back on the show and teach us
I'd
more?
love to.
Wonderful. We'd love to have you back. Where can
Yeah.
people find out more about you and your work, Susan?
Yes, you can get to me on betterlover.com. That's where I have a newsletter that I send out twice a week that is all this kind of stuff, everything and anything, all sexy stuff, bedroom communication, you name it. And when you get my newsletter, if you have any questions for me, you're welcome to reply to any email that I send to you. It goes to my inbox. That doesn't go to my care team. That goes to me, and I will reply. Sometimes it takes me a while if I'm on the road or what have you, but I will get back to you. And almost always the thing that you ask me is not weird. And 400 people have already asked me the same thing, and I have an article or a video on it. So,
It's perfect. It's perfect.
yeah,
I love it. Well, thank you for the information today. Thank you for all the free resources that you've shared
yeah,
with us
my pleasure.
because I don't know, gateway to the goddess through female pleasure, as far as I'm concerned. We need far more goddess. Susan Bratton, thank you so much for the show. Thanks for coming on. And I'm going
Thank you,
to ask you
lovely.
the final question I ask
Okay.
every guest on the show.
Yeah,
Are
I
you
can't
ready?
wait. Yeah.
Okay, very good. It goes like this. Knowing what you know now, what would you
Mhm.
tell your younger self?
Yeah. That's pretty easy. It would be continually experiment with your pleasure because it's just going to get better and better. It's never going to end, and you're going to live a longer, healthier, happier life by taking the time to lie down and allow yourself the pleasure.
Ooh, I love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
The information and other content provided in this show, or in any linked materials, is not intended and should not be construed as medical advice, nor is the information a substitute for professional medical expertise or treatment. We are doctors, but we aren't your doctor. Seek your doctor's opinion. If you or any other person has a medical concern, you should consult with your healthcare provider or seek other professional medical treatment. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something that you have heard in this podcast or in any linked materials. If you think you may have a medical emergency, call your doctor or emergency services immediately. The opinions and views expressed on this page and in this show have no relation to those of any academic, hospital, health practice, or other institution. Thank you.